Hey Wargamers, hope you had a good Thanksgiving if you're in America. If you're not in America, hope you had a good weekend. Um, Basically, I just want to do a quick video talking about something that has been on my mind ever since Games Workshop released the images of the new drop pod for Tyranids, the Tyrannocyte. And that is that a lot of people are going to be looking to use their old spore pod conversions or otherwise modifying the Tyrannocyte in a way that I think might be problematic. And that is that the Tyrannocyte model stands on those tentacles, right? So it has a good, couple inches of height between the base and the bulk of the pod. It's just those tentacles hanging down. And what that means is that if you deploy a model behind it, so pod comes down, Carnifex, whatever pops out, you can't hide it behind the pod, right? There's no way to completely block line of sight using the Tyrannocyte model as it is suggested to be built by Games Workshop. And that differs from a lot of the old spore pod conversions and ways of assembling the Tyrannocyte without the tentacles, in that those will be touching the base, right? So a lot of times you'd have a pod that just sat on a stand, right, and didn't have those tentacles, so there was no gap, right? So you could completely obscure something, completely hide it behind an old spore pod. And so I'm completely for letting people use conversions and stuff like that, but is that modeling for an advantage? I mean, not intentionally, right? Because when you made the model, there was no model to base it off of, and the scale is completely, up to you at that point. But now that we have a model, what do we do about that? Because if you chop the tentacles off the Tyrannocyte and put it on the base, I mean, I think that's clearly modeling for an advantage. But if you have an old conversion, I mean, that's not an intentional thing. That's just a model you have and you put a lot of work into it. I think you should use it. But aren't those the same thing? So I don't know. That's why I did this video, is I want to know what you guys think. I don't know. I think that's an important implication for the model as it is, though, is that you can't completely obscure models behind it. Of course, they'll get a 5-up cover save from being partially blocked, by those tentacles and being behind the Tyrannocyte, but it doesn't prevent the enemy from shooting at you, which is important. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, and happy wargaming.